Welcome back, everybody. We're talking NBA basketball. As always, Alex is going to take us through the top storylines of the latest week of NBA action. Alex, what you got for us this week?
Yeah, it was another great week in the NBA. But first, fantasy-wise, we are in the playoffs. Tyler did squeak in, which is really unfortunate.
Huge.
So I am the 1 seed. Obviously, Tyler's the 4 seed. James, with a huge comeback, is now the 2 seed. He's facing off against Jose. We'll see how that goes. It's 2 weeks, so we got a little bit to go before that finishes up. But that is kind of fun that 3 of us are in there. Trade in. Sorry, bud.
You got beat out by Jose. Come on, bro.
Brutal.
Okay. First off, mad props to Eric last week. He called this injury live as we were recording. Jamal Murray tore his ACL for the Nuggets. Go back and listen to it. He goes, oh, I think he just tore his ACL. So mad props to Eric. He's not here, but when he listens to this later, he'll hear that. So yeah, Jamal Murray tore his ACL. That's a season-ending injury for the Nuggets star. So we're going to start with his injury, and then we're going to go to another injury. But Tyler, for Jamal Murray, he's out for the season. You know, the Nuggets were playing really well. Is this their championship hopes over now? Is it done, or do they still got a chance because they have an MVP center?
Yeah, it makes a huge dent in those championship quests for them. I mean, he's their second best player behind the Joker, so it's going to be hard to replace that. But as you mentioned, the Nuggets have been playing very, very well. I do think that they have one of the best, more deeper teams in the Western Conference. But this is going to be a huge blow. I think they'll still be a playoff team. I think that they could easily win a series in the playoffs without Murray. But I don't think they're going to get much further than that. So the title chances for me are very slim to none at this point. I mean, guys are going to really have to step up. Porter Jr. has been having a great season. He's going to have to do more. And then Aaron Gordon, the big trade that they got, he's going to have to step up as well. But I don't know. It's tough to lose a big star like that and really consider yourselves title contenders. It just doesn't happen in basketball often, and it sucks. Like you never want to see this with any team, even if you're rooting against that team. You want to see your best players against the other team's best players. It sucks for the game of basketball. Sucks for the Nuggets. It's really a hard thing to see. And best of luck to Jamal in his recovery. Hopefully he comes back next year. Hopefully that the Nuggets can make another run at it. But as in terms of this year, slim.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I mean, it seems like we talk about this every single week, but the NBA is the most star-driven league that we talk about. And you know, Jamal Murray was one of their stars. He helped carry them to the Western Conference Finals last year. I agree with you. I think they could win a series. You know, the Joker could maybe carry them to 2 series, but I just don't know. That West is really top heavy. You know, if the Lakers get healthy, the Clippers, the Suns, the Jazz, that's a lot of really good teams. Steph's still out there. You know, he can carry a team. So, well, it's a bummer because I thought, you know, the Nuggets had a really good shot at maybe surprising some people. So hopefully Jamal Murray comes back healthy next year. And then not too long after that, Donovan Mitchell goes down with an injury. He has a sprained ankle. It doesn't seem as bad. I think I read he's only going to miss a couple of games, maybe like a week or so, you know, better than like LeBron's who, you know, he's missed a month plus now.
Hold up real fast.
Go for it.
You see all these superstars right now are getting injured, right? On every single team. Nobody has been untouched. What are your thoughts on the condensed schedule and how's that affected injuries?
I mean, it definitely has. I mean, almost every team has gone through injuries, like extensive injuries, except for maybe the Clippers. Like Paul George has been out a little bit. Kawhi's been out, but like not compared to some of these other teams. The Suns have been pretty healthy. I think, you know, if we're looking at it, it's all the teams that made deep runs into the playoffs last year, the shortest offseason, a condensed schedule. They're playing a lot of back-to-backs, and it's just the way the NBA had to do it to try to get the season through. I mean, there's been COVID issues. You're probably right. It's probably just, you know, these guys don't get to rest as much. The injuries just pile up. I don't know.
What do you think that the superstars should have taken time off and done those rest days like the Clippers have been doing in order to keep their stars from injury?
I mean, as a fan, no, because I want to see those guys play. If I'm an NBA executive, yes, because I mean, we saw what Kawhi could do for the Raptors as a, healthy scratch for it feels like half the season, and then he led that team to a championship, 2 years ago. So as a strategy, it's probably a really good idea, but as a fan, especially with fans coming back to the stands, like all those tickets are crazy expensive. How mad would you be if you pay to see a Clippers game and both Kawhi and Paul George were sitting? I mean,
they actually have
that's
ticket insurance that you can buy now. Companies actually let you take out insurance against that happening, and if your favorite player doesn't play, they refund you some or all of your proceeds. It's kind of crazy, or all of your costs. It's kind of crazy. No free ads. I don't remember the name, so I'm not gonna.
No free ads.
That'd be perfect for this, though. We need to reach out to them.
Yeah,
I did not know that. That is super cool.
Yeah,
only in basketball, because it's always that's only the load management that James was kind of alluding to, right? That's the only sport that really they do it.
Yeah, I mean, baseball, guys will take off days, but because they play so many games, it's not really load management. It's more of just if you don't take an off day, you're gonna get hurt,
right?
Kind of thing. So, James, that's a really good point. Yeah, it's definitely affected it. Obviously, it seems like a rash of injuries compared to past seasons, but Donovan Mitchell, Tyler, he's out for a week maybe. If he does not come back 100% Donovan Mitchell, what are the Jazz, on the same question, what are the Jazz hope as right now the number 1 seed?
Yeah, I mean, I think he will come back 100% healthy. Obviously ankle sprains in the game of basketball are not easy, but I think that they're going to take their time in getting him back. I mean, I would say probably mid or early to mid May return for Mitchell is probably going to be realistic. They're going to take their time with this one. Doesn't look like the ankle sprain is too significant. So you're looking at a first, second. I don't know exactly what the report was, but it doesn't look like it was too major. So those are pretty standard. But again, obviously in basketball, it's tough. So you may not see 100% Mitchell, but I think with the level of care that he's going to get, I think that he will. So they're going to sacrifice potential placement in the standings in order to get him back 100% and make sure that when they start their playoff run, that he's going to be the best that he can be given the circumstances. So it's probably going to take longer than I think fans and probably a lot of people are going to want. It might be just before the playoffs start that he actually gets back in there and starts playing some games, but obviously a tough one, but I think also a little bit of a kind of a good news where it's not, a Jamal Murray type of injury where it's season ending and it's, over. But obviously if Donovan Mitchell's not 100%, that's going to be a huge blow for the Jazz. I mean, he's probably arguably their best player. So not having him will be a huge blow. And I think with everyone else getting healthy in the West, that's going to be a big advantage for everyone else. But I do believe that Donovan Mitchell will come back and he'll be the same Donovan Mitchell as before. I think he'll be okay.
Okay, James, you were making
James
some
is
faces.
ready to pounce
a lot.
Tyler.
Yep.
First of all, in the beginning of your little rant there, you answered the question. You said he will be 100%. Then in the middle, you were like, he's not going to be 100%. And you come back and you're like, he's going to be 100%. Make up your mind. What is it, 100% or not?
I don't remember saying he's not going to be 100%.
You did in the middle.
I said if he is not. But I said,
okay.
I believe that he will be.
As a medical professional, you know how long ankle sprains take to recover 100%. The answer is 6 months. They don't have 6 months to give him. He has weeks. He's not going to be 100%. He'll put up numbers, but he's not going to be the same dude.
I mean, I disagree. I think that, they're going to get him back, and yeah, I mean, structurally in the ligament, it's not going to be 100%. No, of course not. But they're going to get him to a point where he can play at his best. And that's what I took 100% to be. Not, is he going to be healed 100%? No. But is he going to play at 100% his ability to play? Yes. That's how
given the structural damage that's occurred, he'll be 100% of what he can be, but not 100% of what he used to be.
Yes. feel like you're wording those questions to trick me here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not really. It's like, never mind.
And he'll take.
I think
the Donovan Mitchell he was before, right? Before the injury. I think that Donovan Mitchell will be the same once he comes back.
Okay. Trade and I feel like we're just along for the ride here.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with both of you. I think that
Oh my God.
He's going to come back. He'll play well enough. He's not going to be 100% though. He'll come back. He'll still be a very good player, but it's going to be, 90, 95%. From someone that is, again, a doctor, because I've watched like 3 seasons of House now. He should be fine. Yeah.
Watch it all. Some doctor.
There you go. Dr. James. Okay, let's move on.
Well, if you take it 6 months, he's only going to be 10% good. I mean, that's good.
So the rate of healing at the point of maximum stretch is higher, and the more healing that occurs, the amount of healing, the rate of healing is slower.
Oh, so it's not linear.
It's not linear. No.
There you go. See, we're all learning today.
We're all learning something new today. Okay, let's move on. 10%. Donovan Mitchell, one leg. Okay. Staying in the West, a team that's playing really well, the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic had an insane game winner, one-footed, banked-in 3 ball. It was a little lucky. It was a little awesome all at the same time. Now, with these injuries, as we've now concluded, Donovan Mitchell will not be 100% when he comes back. Jamal Murray will be at 0% because he's not playing. How far, James, can the Dallas Mavericks go in the Western Conference as we stand right now, assuming the Lakers get healthy? Because that seems like the whole big caveat on the Western Conference is if the Lakers are healthy, it's totally different. If they're not healthy, it feels much more wide open. But Luka, Dallas, how far are they going?
Hot take, but how far the Mavericks go does not depend on Luka. It's not on Luka's shoulders. Mainly because Luka's going to do Luka things. He's been doing it for 2 years. That's expected. He's going to continue doing that unless he gets hurt. So he's going to be 100% if he doesn't get hurt, Tyler. But the way that these Mavericks go, they have the green light to shoot anywhere. Luka excels at the driving kick, which is why his numbers on the assist are so high. When the Mavericks are making the shots, they're pretty unbeatable. But Luka needs help. He can't be the only guy. We talked about this time and time again. You can't have one superstar and expect to do well in the NBA. You can't expect to win a playoff series if you have one superstar. You need help. Porzingis used to be regarded as a superstar, and he's putting up double-double numbers now, but he isn't a superstar. He's a star. So that he needs to really step up his game and really be Luka's sidekick in order for the Mavericks to go far. That being said, max make the second round. They have Luka. He's gonna do well, but other than that, it's kind of like where's the mismatches? They don't have anybody else who can really dominate outside of Luka. Everybody else can match up against them and can shoot better than them. But when the Mavericks get hot, that's when they shoot better. But that's few and far between. Given the record now, it's few and far between. So yeah, max second round. You have to make it that far. I hope they do. I really want to watch Luka continue playing the playoffs. It's going to give him more confidence. It's going to make him a better player overall.
Okay, so by max second round, you mean they could win one series and then they'll
Correct.
lose in the next one?
Yes.
I really don't want to agree with you because that's kind of boring. But in the NBA, I mean, Luka could take them to a Western Conference Finals if he just goes off for 2 series. If the Mavs play even remotely kind of okay defense, their offense is so good that they could shut down some teams. But I do kind of agree with you. I think they've got a good shot at maybe winning one series, but they need to get out of the play-in tourney, because they're going to end up playing a Suns or a Jazz or one of those top 3 teams or so, and that's a tough pull in your first series of the playoffs. So I love Luka. I hope we get to see him more in the playoffs, but I kind of agree with you. Just one series, possibly just done in the first round. Okay, and then lastly, back-to-back ownership questions for trading on the basketball segment. Dwyane Wade, kind of, I feel like out of nowhere, bought into the Utah Jazz. He's now a part owner, and he said that he wants to be a very active member in the franchise. He had to write a letter to the Miami fans saying, Miami's still in my heart. I'm like, it's not like he bought into the Celtics or something, Heat fan. Like, calm down. He's just trying to diversify, get into the ownership game. I mean, Shaq's a part owner of the Kings, and no one gives a shit about that. So trade-in. The Utah Jazz typically, middle of the road. They're not, as we talk about, they're not on the coasts. They're one of those middle America teams. What can D-Wade bring to the Jazz, with his ownership and obviously vast amounts of experience?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start out by saying I love this. I love this move. I think this is awesome. And Dwyane Wade has been looking to find some entrepreneurial, is a very entrepreneurial business guy. He's been looking to find some ownership, kind of for a while now, or at least find some way into the business side of basketball. And this is it. And I mean, I understand why he did write that letter to the Miami Heat. I mean, he is the greatest Miami Heat to ever play. And I'm not saying, and I know LeBron James played for the Miami Heat, but I look at LeBron James as a player who played on the Miami Heat, wasn't a Miami Heat. There's a difference there. If you understand what I'm saying there. Everyone regards Dwyane Wade as the greatest Heat. He is the heart and soul of that franchise. So I get it. But, Dwyane Wade has wanted to grow his skill set, his business side of things for a while now. And this is his way to do that. And very similar to last week when we were talking about A-Rod, Dwyane Wade's going to bring that want for players to come to Utah, right? It's a very similar type of gig. However, I'll say this: I think that Dwyane Wade's gonna have a bigger impact because of the type of impact he's already had on Donovan Mitchell. He already has a very good, relationship with Donovan Mitchell, and now that he's going to Utah, that's gonna only, continue, and it's gonna make new guys that enter the league want to go to Utah and play. And the greatest thing about this is the first time that we've seen a former player become an owner of a team that is up and coming. I mean, the Utah Jazz are much better than they were, than they ever been for a while. I mean, they're one of the greatest teams, in recent, one of the better teams now. And those other guys, you look at Michael Jordan, you look at Shaq, those guys bought teams that haven't really, were either at a plateau, weren't going anywhere. And Dwyane Wade's actually purchasing a team on the up and up. And I think that he's actually going to be able to bring, his immense basketball know-how to the organization. Obviously he's an analyst at TNT, and I think that he's going to have to, sever that if he wants to get into the operations side, and we'll see if he actually goes down that route. I just think that his star power, the kind of guy he is, he's like one of the greatest guys out there. I mean, he's just a genuinely good dude. And his just leadership qualities is just kind of huge when you look at it even if he's a minority owner of the team. So I like this for the Utah Jazz going forward. I think that young players are going to want to play for Utah. Like you said, this is not one of the coast teams. And when these types of players buy these type of teams, it actually makes them, teams that are attractive to play for and go to. And I think that's going to start, early or that's already started with that relationship with Donovan Mitchell, and it's only going to continue from there. So I love it. And, congratulations to Dwyane Wade. He deserves it. And good luck in your next step of, life.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this is, the Utah, they had some good teams, in like the mid 2000s, but this is the best team they've probably had since the Stockton Malone era, which has been like 25 years now or something. And you're right. Dwyane Wade is a very respected person in basketball. It also helps that he's from Chicago, a huge basketball city, and he played in South Florida, where there's a lot of basketball fans as well. So I agree. I think he's going to bring in young players who watched him as they were growing up, and they'll want to go play in Utah. And it helps that you have a budding superstar in Donovan Mitchell, who in 6 months will be 100% healthy, and a defensive player of the year candidate every single year in Rudy Gobert. Again, it's kind of a very similar thing to the A-Rod Timberwolves thing we talked about last week, but it's better because it's Dwyane Wade and he's a basketball legend, and he is one of the guys around the league that people do respect. So good for Dwyane Wade, good for the state of Utah and in the Utah Jazz. It'll be exciting to see what Dwyane can bring to that franchise. But Tyler, that's it. That's all I've got for basketball this week.
All right. Well, if anyone is 100%, it's definitely Alex doing these NBA segments. So great job as always, Alex.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, you're welcome.